Welcome to Digital Accessibility, Making Accessible Word Docs, provided by the Harris Family Center for Disability and Health Policy in partnership with Western U IT. This tutorial provides the tools you need to make accessible Word documents. What you learn here can be applied to other software programs that are used to create digital content and course materials, helping make the learning environment accessible for all students.
As you may recall from our last video, digital accessibility is the practice of creating digital content so that all people can engage with and use the materials regardless of their disability or need for assistive technology. Federal and state legislation, specifically Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973 as amended, requires agencies to provide access to information that is comparable to that provided to individuals without disabilities. To ensure that content is accessible, agencies must follow the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG. Specifically, entities under Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act must follow version 2.1. Since Western U is an institution founded on the principle of humanism, this version will be referred to throughout this tutorial as we review the elements needed to make a document accessible. One of the first things to consider is color contrast. Color contrast refers to how well one color stands out from another and whether most people can read the information. It is a ratio that compares the difference in light between the foreground and background, allowing readers to distinguish one element from another. Under WCAG 2.1, the standard contrast ratio is at least 4.5 to 1 for fonts smaller than 18-point font. For larger fonts, the ratio is 3 to 1. There are exceptions to this standard. Text that is purely decorative, such as background text, company logos, brand names, or incidental text in images, does not need to meet contrast standards. However, infographics, because they convey meaning and information, must adhere to the standard. Contrast is especially important since documents are intended to provide information. Low contrast makes it difficult to read information and can pose a problem when important content such as safety instructions are involved. Higher contrast makes it easier to see the information displayed. This is especially important for individuals who have low vision. So how do you know if the colors in your document meet the technical standards?
There are several ways to determine if your selected colors meet contrast standards. The easiest method is the Check Accessibility feature in Microsoft Word, located on the Review tab. This tool scans your document and evaluates its accessibility. If contrast issues are found, Word automatically suggests alternative colors that are close to your original choice while meeting the accessibility standard. You can choose to accept the suggestion or select different colors and run the check again. Another method involves using a contrast checker. These tools are especially useful when working with a software that does not include built-in accessibility checkers like Microsoft Word does. Free checkers are available online. A recommended option is provided by WebAIM. Keep in mind that these tools require hex values, the 6-digit color codes used in digital design. To learn more, refer to the video on using contrast checkers. Images and figures are a major component when creating course content. They are often used to provide a visual representation of a concept outlined in the document or to support its overall theme. Under WCAG 2.1, images and figures are considered non-text content. This means that they must include an alternative format that can be read by a screen reader. The most common method is alternative text. Alternative text, or alt text, is a concise description of an image or figure that makes it accessible to individuals relying on screen readers. Alt text is typically 1 to 2 sentences and should describe the content and purpose of the image. Exceptions may apply. For example, complex charts may require more detailed descriptions, since captions alone may not fully convey the data.
Adding alt text is relatively easy. Most content creation programs include built-in features for this purpose. In Microsoft Word, you can add alt text by using the Check Accessibility feature or by right-clicking the image. Select the View Alt Text to open the alt text panel on the right side. There's a box to add the alt text. Microsoft offers suggested alt text, but it is recommended that you write your own for accuracy. There is also a checkbox to mark an image as decorative. This should only be used if the image has no informational value, such as a purely decorative visual element. Keep in mind that when creating alt text, it should convey the content and purpose in a concise and unambiguous manner. It shouldn't be longer than 1 to 2 sentences, avoid repeating surrounding textual content, and phrases like image of. For more information on how to create effective alt text, Western U's knowledge base article, Adding Alt Text to Images in Microsoft, is available for reference. Another important consideration is font type and font size. These affect how screen readers interpret text and how easily users can read and navigate the document. Word processing programs like Microsoft Word have the ability to adjust for font type and size. WCAG 2.1 states that except for captions and images of text, content should be resizable up to 200% without loss of functionality or readability. While WCAG does not specify a minimum font size, there are recommended guidelines. Microsoft Word's default font size is 12 point, which is widely accepted. However, to support a broader range of potential viewers, a minimum font of 14 point is recommended.
Font choice also affects accessibility. While decorative fonts may look appealing, they can be difficult to read or may not be properly recognized by screen readers. This is why it is important to consider what type of font to use. Fonts fall into 2 categories, serif and sans serif. Serif fonts are known to have small decorative lines or serifs at the beginning and end of letters. Times New Roman, a font often used in journal articles and term papers, is a serif font. Sans serif, as its name suggests, does not have the serif at the beginning or end of the letters. The default font types in Microsoft Word, Calibri and Aptos, are sans serif fonts. In order to reach the broadest audience, sans serif fonts are recommended for accessibility. The reason for this is that with the absence of the serifs, a screen reader is able to recognize the characters. For individuals with difficulty distinguishing the difference between letters, the absence of serif allows them to see the letters clearly. Recommended fonts include Arial, Verdana, Tahoma, Open Sans, Roboto, Calibri, Helvetica, Aptos, and Century Gothic. Now that you understand the key elements of accessible documents, you can apply them together. There are some additional things to consider that can make your document accessible. Use the heading function in Microsoft Word. Headings can allow screen readers to navigate through the document. For someone who is visually impaired, this can help them sort out main subjects from subsections. Use the bullet or numbered list functions in Word to create lists rather than typing them in manually. Use left justification when creating your documents. Justified spacing can affect the spacing of words and characters and can affect the way a screen reader reads the words. The minimum line spacing recommended is 1.5. This not only helps screen readers, but it also helps individuals that may have low vision or have difficulty distinguishing between the lines of sentences in a paragraph. You can caption images and figures. Alt text can describe the image, but if captions are used, the same rules apply as alt text. They should be concise and describe what the image or figure is. Avoid using color alone to convey meaning, such as using red to denote items that are wrong. For individuals that may have conditions like color blindness, they may not be able to distinguish between colors. Use simple table structures. Avoid merging cells, nested tables, or blank cells. Make sure that the top row is the header row. This is easily found on the Table Formatting tab once you insert a table in Microsoft Word. Use descriptive, meaningful text for links instead of using "click here" or pasting in long URLs. It allows for easy navigation and will reduce confusion when a screen reader reads the hyperlink. When you put all of these elements together, you're on the right path to creating an accessible document for your curriculum or whatever you wish to make.
If you have questions about making documents accessible, we are here to help. Please contact the Assistive Technology and Alternative Media Specialists at Disability Accommodations at westernu.edu, and we will be happy to assist you. Also, follow us on Instagram and Facebook to learn more about helpful accessibility tips and updates from CDHP. For significant technical issues on the Pomona and Lebanon campus, you can contact IT support at techsupport@westernu.edu or submit a ticket through the IT support portal. This video series was created and presented by the Harris Family Center for Disability and Health Policy in partnership with Western U IT Support. Thank you for watching. We hope this video helps you feel confident in your understanding of digital accessibility and making accessible Word documents. Be sure to explore the next video in our series, Checking Color Contrast, available through CDHP and IT. For additional resources, please visit our website or reach out to our support team. We are here to help.